What if the most dangerous invasion in America isn't coming from outside our borders, but from animals we brought here ourselves? Right now, 7 million feral hogs are destroying $2.5 billion worth of American farmland annually. But here's what will shock you. We're losing. Despite killing 100,000 hogs yearly in Texas alone, their population surges 20% faster each year. The math is brutal. For every one we eliminate, 3 more are born. These aren't the farm pigs you're imagining. Wild boars are 800-pound predators with razor tusks, night vision sharper than military scopes, and intelligence that's evolving. Last month, a single sounder destroyed $47,000 of corn in 3 hours. The farmer had electric fences, guard dogs, motion sensors. None of it mattered. So Texas went to war. Military drones, helicopter gunships, million-dollar bounties. The result? The hogs learned. They now recognize drone sounds, memorize patrol schedules, even wait for security systems to cycle off. But there's something even more disturbing happening. Something farmers discovered that changes everything about this war. And when you learn what these creatures are really doing after midnight and why they're suddenly abandoning farmland, you'll understand why this battle has already taken a terrifying turn. When daylight fades in Texas, the real invasion begins. Wild boars are nocturnal by nature. Under the cover of darkness, they move in groups called sounders, searching for food with relentless energy. A single herd can strip a field bare before dawn. For farmers, the night sky once meant helpless waiting. Today, it has become a battlefield, illuminated by technology. Drones have changed the fight. Equipped with infrared cameras, these machines see what the human eye cannot: heat. Against the black of midnight, hogs appear as glowing shapes, their every step tracked in real time. Operators, sometimes miles away, pilot the drones with precision, scanning entire fields in minutes. Once located, hogs are marked by GPS, and hunters on the ground move into position. Behavior is the key to success. Hogs gather in fields at night because they believe it is safe. Their keen senses of smell and hearing are unmatched, but their eyesight is poor. This makes them vulnerable to aerial surveillance. With drones silently circling above, every grunt, every root, every careless movement is recorded. When hunters move in, the odds shift dramatically. The results are undeniable. Night hunts regularly harvest larger numbers of hogs than daytime hunts. In one remarkable case, a team guided by drones captured an 800-pound boar, valued at $4,000. The sheer size of such an animal demonstrates both the problem and the opportunity. Each hog removed is acres of crops saved, days of labor protected. But this method is not without cost. High-powered drones with thermal optics are expensive, often thousands of dollars each. Batteries limit flight time, and skilled operators are required to manage the technology. Hogs, too, are adapting. Farmers report herds scattering at the faint hum of rotors or avoiding well-lit areas entirely. The arms race between human ingenuity and animal intelligence never stops. Yet for many communities, drones have become the difference between profit and ruin. One farmer described watching live drone footage of a herd in his field. It was the first time I felt ahead of them, not behind. For once, I could see where they were going before they got there. In this fight, information is power, and drones deliver it in real time. They are not simply tools of hunting, but eyes in the sky, shifting the balance in a war most people never see. But what happens when herds grow too large, too fast, for even drones to manage? The answer is firepower from above, when the fight escalates to helicopters, turning farmland into a battlefield in the sky. When herds grow too large for rifles on the ground or drones in the sky, the battle escalates to one of the most dramatic methods of all: helicopter hunting. In Texas, The hog problem is so vast that even the skies have become weapons in the war for farmland. Helicopters offer something no other method can: speed, coverage, and overwhelming presence. From high above, pilots can scan thousands of acres in minutes, spotting entire sounders as they scatter across open terrain. Then, with practiced precision, they swoop low, giving hunters a clear line of fire. Unlike on the ground, where fences, brush, and trees give hogs cover, here the battlefield is wide open. Timing is crucial. Helicopter hunts are often conducted after harvest, when fields are bare and visibility is highest. With crops cleared, hogs lose their natural hiding places. Hunters can track their movements in real time, turning open farmland into hunting grounds, where there's nowhere left to run. Different machines serve different purposes. Twin-engine helicopters are the workhorses, carrying multiple hunters, heavy rifles, and extra gear. They dominate vast areas, cutting down herds before they reach the next farm. Single-engine helicopters, lighter and more agile, are used in tight terrain, swooping into valleys and wooded edges where hogs often retreat. Together, they form a two-pronged strategy: reach and precision. The behavior of hogs plays directly into this method. When threatened, they panic. Instead of scattering widely, sounders often run in tight groups, making them easier to pursue and target. The very instinct that protects them on the ground becomes their weakness from above. But the advantages come at a price. Helicopter hunting is expensive, costing between $3,000 and $4,000 an hour. Only the most devastated farms or state-sponsored efforts can afford it. The noise of rotors also carries environmental concerns, frightening livestock, disturbing nearby communities, and leaving a heavy footprint on the land. Still, for many farmers, the cost is worth it. Entire herds can be eliminated in a single flight, protecting millions of dollars in crops. For ranchers watching their fields vanish acre by acre, the roar of rotors overhead is not noise, it's salvation. One pilot described it simply: "From up here, you finally feel like you're ahead of them. But even with the firepower we carry, they just keep coming back." Helicopter hunting is not the end of the story. It is a powerful tool, but not a permanent solution. Like every method before it, it buys time, pushes back the tide, but never stops it completely. And while the skies may hold back the herds in the open fields, the war has already spread further than anyone expected. Because wild hogs are no longer just a rural problem. They are marching straight into America's towns and neighborhoods. For decades, wild boars were considered a problem of the countryside, but today, they are appearing where few expected, in suburban yards, city parks, and even playgrounds. What began as an agricultural crisis has become a community-wide threat. The reasons are simple but troubling. As farms strengthen defenses and hunters patrol the fields, hogs look for easier food. In towns, they find it everywhere. Garbage bins left outside overnight, bowls of pet food, bird feeders spilling seed. Their powerful noses, 2,000 times more sensitive than ours, lead them straight into neighborhoods where humans unknowingly provide a banquet. The results are destructive. Lawns are torn apart overnight as hogs root for insects and grubs. Gardens are shredded, fences broken, and irrigation systems ripped from the ground. Residents awake to find their once quiet streets marked with muddy hoofprints and overturned trash cans. For families with children or small pets, the threat is not just property damage, but safety. A startled boar weighing hundreds of pounds can charge without warning. Communities have turned to prevention. The most common solution is fencing. Wooden fences, in particular, are favored not only for their effectiveness, but also for being affordable, easy to maintain, and environmentally friendly compared to metal or plastic alternatives. They create a barrier that discourages hogs from entering yards while blending naturally into the landscape. But barriers alone are not always enough. Residents are advised to secure garbage, feed pets indoors, and avoid leaving food sources outside. The goal is to remove temptation, because once a hog discovers a food supply, it will return again and again, often bringing others with it. One homeowner described the shift bluntly: "It's not just farms anymore. The fight has come to our backyards." This creeping invasion highlights a larger truth. Wild hogs are not simply a rural pest. but an adaptable predator of opportunity. Wherever food exists, they will follow. And so, in the quiet streets of Texas towns, families have turned to an age-old ally for protection. The next defenders in this war are not helicopters or drones, but loyal companions. Which region are you watching this video from? Drop your location in the comments below. We'd love to know where our Tech Motion community is tuning in from today. In the fight against wild boars, some of the most trusted defenders walk on four legs. Across Texas, families and farmers alike rely on their dogs, not only as companions but as guardians against intruders. Dogs serve a dual role. On one hand, they are loyal protectors, barking fiercely when they sense danger. On the other, they are early warning systems, alerting families to the presence of hogs long before humans can see them. With senses far sharper than our own, dogs can pick up the smell or sound of a hog approaching from remarkable distances. This matters because of the way hogs behave. They are cautious but bold. A lone hog may sneak close to a home in search of food, but the moment it encounters resistance, like the sudden charge of a barking dog, it often retreats. Hogs are powerful, but they prefer easy victories. When confronted, most avoid a prolonged fight. On farms, trained dogs go even further. Some breeds are used to track, corner, and hold hogs in place until hunters arrive. This is dangerous work. Wild boars can slash with sharp tusks, but it shows the extraordinary partnership between humans and animals in this ongoing battle. Beyond practicality, dogs bring emotional reassurance. For many older Texans, the sight of a loyal animal standing guard on the porch offers a sense of security that technology alone cannot provide. As one rancher put it, you can buy fences and gadgets, but nothing beats the heart of a good dog. Yet, while dogs can protect us, some people make a dangerous mistake, inviting the enemy inside. And that leads to one of the riskiest choices in this entire struggle: raising wild boars as pets. Not all encounters with wild boars end in fences or hunts. In some cases, people have tried to raise them as pets, feeding them milk, scraps from the dinner table, and even allowing them to live inside the home. At first glance, these animals may seem tame, even affectionate. But beneath the surface, their wild nature never disappears. Unlike domestic pigs, wild boars retain the instincts that have allowed them to survive for centuries. They are herd animals, guided by scent and hunger. A boar, raised inside a home, can still smell its kind outside. That scent may draw other hogs closer, unintentionally inviting danger to the very doorstep of the family that feeds it. The risks multiply as the animal grows. A young piglet may weigh only a few pounds, but within months, it can exceed 100 pounds, with tusks strong enough to injure humans or pets. When food is scarce or when startled, even a pet hog may lash out aggressively. Stories from across Texas tell of once docile hogs turning dangerous the moment hunger set in. Behavior explains why this happens. In the wild, boars are competitive feeders, accustomed to fighting for resources. Inside a human home, that instinct does not fade. It only waits for the right trigger. For families, the dangers are not limited to aggression. Hogs carry diseases and parasites that can spread to livestock, pets, or even humans. What began as an experiment in taming often ends with costly repairs, broken trust, and in some cases, serious injuries. As one wildlife officer warned, they are wild for a reason. You can't erase thousands of years of instinct with a bag of feed. And if there's a method we haven't covered, or if your community has its own way of dealing with wild boars, please share it in the comments. Your experience could help others facing the same fight. And when those instincts explode into real danger, there's only one call that matters. That call is to the authorities, the police, who step in when hogs cross into our neighborhoods. When wild boars cross into the city, the responsibility often falls to local authorities. In Texas, police departments have become an unexpected line of defense. stepping in when these animals threaten neighborhoods, parks, and public safety. One case stands out. A massive boar appeared in a city park, rooting through sand and trash. While families looked on in fear, calls flooded the local police station and officers arrived quickly. They chased the animal from the area, ensuring no one was harmed. For residents, it was a reminder that hogs are not just an agricultural issue. They are a community problem requiring coordinated response. Law enforcement agencies stress the importance of reporting sightings. A single call can prevent a dangerous encounter, especially in areas where children or elderly residents might be at risk. Police are trained to handle these situations with caution, using vehicles, lights, or weapons if necessary to push the animals back. But authorities cannot work alone. Prevention begins at home. Citizens are urged to secure trash bins, avoid throwing food waste in public areas, and never approach a wild hog. Small changes in daily habits can reduce the attraction that draws hogs into neighborhoods in the first place. As one officer explained, when people call us early, we can protect the community. When they wait, the risk grows for everyone. But the story doesn't end at the city line. To understand the true scale of this problem, we must step back and look at the numbers across the entire United States. If you found this video interesting, drop a 1 in the comments or a 0 if you thought it was boring. The fight against wild boars is not confined to Texas. Across the United States, the scale of this invasion is staggering. According to the USDA, there are an estimated 5 to 7 million feral hogs nationwide, and their numbers are growing by as much as 20% each year. The reason for this explosive growth lies in their biology. Female hogs, or sows, can breed twice a year, producing 6 to 10 piglets per litter. With an average lifespan of up to 15 years, a single sow can give rise to hundreds of descendants. This is why, despite all efforts, rifles, traps, drones, even helicopters, the population continues to climb. The damage is equally daunting. Nationwide, wild hogs cause an estimated $2.5 billion in agricultural losses annually. They destroy crops, tear up pastureland, and pollute water sources with their rooting. Their impact doesn't stop at plants. Feral hogs spread diseases like swine brucellosis and pseudorabies, threatening livestock, pets, and in rare cases, even humans. The problem is concentrated in the southern and central states, where warm climates and abundant farmland create the perfect habitat. Texas leads the list, but states like Alabama, Arkansas, and Mississippi are also suffering heavy losses. And the threat is spreading northward. Wildlife biologists warn that if populations are not controlled, feral hogs could extend into nearly every state within the next 2 decades. Numbers this large reveal a truth farmers already know. There is no single solution. Hunting helps, but cannot keep pace with the reproductive rate. Technology slows the tide, but hogs adapt. The fight is not about eradication. It is about managing an invasive species that refuses to stop multiplying. As one USDA researcher put it, you're not just hunting pigs, you're chasing a moving target that learns, grows, and multiplies faster than any other large animal in North America. Which region are you watching this video from? Drop your location in the comments below. We'd love to know where our Tech Motion community is tuning in from today. Faced with these overwhelming numbers, some communities turned the fight into something more than survival. They created competitions, events where hunting wild boars became both a sport and a strategy. When numbers seem impossible to control, communities have turned the challenge of hog hunting into large-scale competitions. In Texas and across the South, these events are part sport, part necessity, and part community gathering. They are built on the understanding that one farmer alone cannot stop the tide, but thousands working together might make a dent. The Texas Hogfest, the Great American Boar Hunt, and the North American Hog Hunt are among the most recognized. Each year, they attract thousands of hunters, some traveling from across the country. The atmosphere resembles a county fair mixed with a military operation. Campsites buzzing, rifles being checked, and teams plotting strategy. The categories are as diverse as the hunters themselves. Some contests award prizes for the most hogs taken, emphasizing sheer numbers to reduce populations. Others focus on the heaviest boar, highlighting the threat of giants that can weigh upwards of 700 pounds. Team competitions encourage cooperation as small groups coordinate across vast acres of farmland. The rewards are significant. Prizes can reach 100,000, and winners often receive medals or trophies engraved with their achievements. But the true motivation is deeper. For farmers and rural families, these events are about protecting their way of life. Every hog removed represents food saved, land preserved, and security restored. Behavior plays a role here too. Competitions are often timed to coincide with seasonal patterns, such as after harvest, when hogs venture more boldly into fields. Hunters study movement, feeding habits, and breeding cycles to maximize their impact during the limited hours of the contest. Yet, not everyone celebrates. Animal rights groups have voiced strong opposition, calling the events cruel spectacles. They argue that while hogs are invasive, mass hunts risk blurring the line between control and entertainment. Supporters counter that without these contests, populations would grow unchecked, causing even greater suffering to farmers, wildlife, and the hogs themselves. For many, the controversy only underscores the difficulty of the problem. As one farmer explained, "We don't enjoy killing them. We don't have a choice. If we don't act, they take everything." In the end, hunting competitions reflect both the urgency of the crisis and the resilience of rural communities. They are not a perfect solution, but they are one way people come together to fight a shared enemy. Do you agree with these competitions? Comment yes or no. But some contests go further, pushing the boundaries of hunting into a spectacle of heavy weapons and record-breaking boars. These are the extreme hunts, where the fight against feral hogs becomes both controversial and unforgettable. If local hog hunts are about community cooperation, the extreme competitions are about pushing the limits of what's possible. And they spark some of the fiercest debates in the fight against feral hogs. The most infamous is Texas's Kill Them All event. Unlike traditional contests where families and neighbors gather, this competition looks more like a battlefield exercise. Hunters arrive with military-grade equipment, belt-fed rifles, high-capacity magazines, thermal scopes, and even helicopters overhead. The mission is simple: remove as many hogs as possible in the shortest time. The scale is staggering. In a single weekend, hundreds of animals may fall, a number far beyond what most farms could achieve in months. But the atmosphere extends beyond the hunt. These events draw crowds, sponsors, live music, and media coverage. For some, it feels like a festival, turning a desperate agricultural struggle into a public spectacle. Supporters argue that this visibility is good, drawing attention to a crisis many Americans don't realize exists. Critics counter that it risks turning necessity into entertainment, reducing the seriousness of the problem to a show. Then, there's the monster wild boar hunt, which has gained international attention. Hunters from around the globe descend on Texas for a chance to take on the giants, hogs weighing over 100 pounds, nearly half a ton. The rewards are just as massive, with prizes reaching $1 million for the largest animal. To participants, these hunts are about honor and skill, face down a creature that many consider nearly unbeatable in the wild. To farmers, removing the largest hogs means eliminating the individuals that cause the most destruction. Yet the controversy is undeniable. Animal rights groups call these events excessive, accusing organizers of glorifying cruelty. Farmers and hunters respond with a hard truth. These animals are not just nuisances. They are an invasive species responsible for billions in damage, disease transmission, and ecological harm. As one participant said, "It may look like sport, but make no mistake, this is survival." The divide is clear. For some, extreme hunts are bold solutions. For others, they are troubling signs of how far desperation has pushed communities. Because whether you cheer for them or condemn them, the question remains, what becomes of the hogs after the hunt? The answer lies in processing and cooking, where destruction is transformed into sustenance. When the guns fall silent and the fields are cleared, the story of the wild boar does not always end in disposal. Across Texas, many farmers and hunters have learned to transform destruction into sustenance, turning an invasive pest into food for their families and communities. The process begins in the field. Hogs are cleaned and skinned quickly, with hides singed to remove coarse hair. Meat is chilled to prevent spoilage, then divided into cuts. Shoulders for smoking, ribs for slow cooking, loins for roasting, and trimmings for sausage or jerky. Unlike domestic pork, wild boar carries a distinct flavor, leaner and darker, a reflection of their varied diet of roots, nuts, and crops. Safety is paramount, because feral hogs often carry parasites and bacteria. The USDA recommends cooking all meat to at least 100 degrees internal temperature. Families pass down strict traditions of preparation, ensuring that every meal is both safe and satisfying. Culturally, wild boar has found its place in Texas kitchens. Hunters gather around pits to smoke shoulders overnight, while sausages and jerky are shared at local markets or given to neighbors. In some counties, meat is even donated to food banks, extending the fight against hogs into an act of community care. As one farmer explained, "If we have to fight them, at least nothing goes to waste." But even after the meals are shared, the truth remains. This is a battle without an end. And so in the final reflection, we return to the core of the story: persistence, not perfection. The battle with wild boars is endless. These animals adapt, multiply, and return no matter how hard they're hunted. But what defines the American farmer is not defeat, it's persistence. Every drone, every fence, every hog processed into food reflects an unshakable will to protect land and legacy. The deeper lesson is clear. Technology may fight the hogs, but it is human determination that sustains the land. This fight is not about perfection. It's about never giving up, no matter how long the struggle lasts. Because in the end, the true weapon isn't firepower. It's the spirit of resilience. But what if there was a method so effective it wiped out 96.7% of feral hogs in one place? Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what Alabama farmers achieved, with a trap unlike anything you've seen. Click now to discover how they did it.